Tonight, we're taking a closer look at this week's news that the San Diego County District Attorney's Office has removed hundreds of names from the gang injunction list. On Monday, District Attorney Summer Stephan announced she has reviewed the 799 people on the list and has taken off more than 300 names due to a lack of recent criminal activity. So I'm joined now by District Attorney Summer Stephan. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And during the time when they were more in use, any evidence that these gang injunctions actually helped law enforcement with efforts to reduce gang violence?
So the first one in San Diego was in 1997 and the last one in the year 2000. And if we just look at the number of gang murders and gang-related crimes, they have substantially gone down in San Diego. It's very hard to say whether any one effort, whether it's the civil gang injunctions or whether it's the more intense law enforcement or whether it's the enhanced community engagement, but it's a combination of multiple efforts that came together, and gang violence and gang crimes are down in San Diego.
And what was your announcement this week regarding these injunctions?
Well, I'm always out in the neighborhoods talking to people, and I learned that these gang injunctions, that even though they occurred many, many years ago, that individuals remain on them for a lifetime unless there is a specific court action to remove them from the list. You don't automatically fall off after 5 years. And it seemed that there was a substantial number of people that had well moved on with their life. They were productive members of society. They'd left the gang lifestyle behind, but they're having a hard time getting jobs and integrating and re-entering with their families because of still being listed on these gang civil injunctions.
And what about the people who say San Diego is one of the safest big cities because San Diego law enforcement has been tough on crime, and so to ease up on these gang injunctions would be making San Diego not as safe?
Well, we worked very closely with each law enforcement agencies involved, and it was all by collaboration and agreement. So this was an agreement based on understanding that this person has been away from any serious violent crime for 10 years, and that they've been away from any gang involvement for 5 years. And statistically, that is a very valid way to assess whether they're actually a risk presently.
And what about the other argument? Some advocates say that people were falsely named and placed on the list, although they did not have proven strong ties to a gang.
Well, in each of these cases, we had to obtain a court order initially when the injunction went into place that showed their gang membership, and it also showed why they were causing this level of kind of terror to the community that deserved the injunction. So everything was done in open court, and they had the ability to defend their position. And these are the court orders that the courts issued. All we are saying at this point is that these court orders have a lifetime effect, but there are certain people, in this case 42%, have changed circumstances from the time that they went on the list maybe 20 or 10 years ago.
And lastly, hoping to get your thoughts on today's news that Governor Gavin Newsom is set to sign an order that would, in effect, suspend California's death penalty. What are your thoughts about that?
My thoughts always go to the victims. So my thoughts immediately went to the mothers of Kiever and Sellers, the 9 and 13-year-old boys that were raped and murdered and tortured in South Bay by somebody who's already a convicted rapist. And he happens to be a Caucasian sexual predator, and he killed these 2 boys. And the jury found that he deserved the death penalty after a long jury trial. So my thoughts go to them because we are still in contact with them, and I know they just traveled to the Supreme Court to fight for that conviction to remain, because For death penalty cases, there are multiple review processes to make sure that we get it right, and because it's the ultimate penalty and it's very, very serious. And they advocated that this conviction stand. For them, it's a measure of justice that they felt the jury gave them. So for these families and others like them, it is like a unilateral decision that takes away the jury's decision, along with the voters' decision in 2016 to keep the death penalty.
District Attorney Summer Stephan, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.